Welcome to the country, where we do country things. And on today's video, I've got a project over at the aquaponic system that I need to be working on. So the tomatoes don't seem like they're getting the water that I want them to get. I'm going to have to make some adjustments and try to figure out how to get the tomatoes some more water. So as soon as I get finished up with the goats here, I'll take you over there to the greenhouse with me, and I'll show you how I'm going to fix it, or how I think I'm going to fix it anyway. So just give me a minute to get over there, and I'll be right back. So after having the system up and running for about a month or so, and tweaking a few things here and there, I noticed that my biggest problem is a lot of these tomatoes aren't getting the water that they need. So when I started this system up and I drilled these feeder lines, I wanted to start out with as small of a line as I thought I could get away with, so that I could make sure that I had enough volume of water to feed all these buckets. So I was able to do that with the flow that I had, but now I think the holes are actually too small, and the tomatoes aren't getting enough water, and they're plugging up really easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upsize the hole that I have drilled into these 3-inch feeder lines, so I can get these tomatoes more water. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to take these lines out that's already in there. I'm going to unscrew the little adapter here. I'm going to take a drill bit that is 1/4 of an inch. See, this is the size, might be hard to see on camera, that's the size of the hole that the water's coming out of now, and this is the size the hole's going to be coming out of, or the water's going to be coming out of. So I'm going to double the size of the hole by using this drill bit. Just run it through there, double it, and then take the tubing and stick it in there in reverse. Instead of having the adapter screwed into there, I'm going to wedge this this tubing in the other way, hopefully. There we go. Okay, so that hole is really tight. I want a really tight fit there so I don't have any leaks. And then once I turn this over, now you can see I'm actually getting a kind of a pressure stream of water. So I'm getting smaller here instead of bigger, and that's giving me a little bit of a pressure, giving me a really good heavy stream of water. And these tomatoes are going to be able to all have the exact same amount of water now that they before. You know, some of them were getting more water than others, and some of them were plugging up real easily, and I just didn't like the way it was working out. So we're going to take all these lines, we're going to drill them out to from 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch right here. Put this 1/4 inch line in there, and then just tuck that back in there against the plant. And get down here and show you guys. Get on this side. And look down in there. Just pinch that off. And dig around, and I'll show you. There we go. See how well the tomatoes are starting to take root. So they're rooting real good. They're growing kind of slowly still. But we still have a lot of cold nights, and the weather's not really all that warm, so the water that's feeding them is not real warm yet. So once we start getting into some warmer temperatures and this water starts warming up, these tomatoes should really start firing off. So anyway, that's the modification that I'm making to help the tomatoes get more water. So I'm going to go down through here and finish this up today and get this done. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll be back. Okay, so I finished modifying the feeder lines for the tomatoes. And of course, anytime you change something downstream, you're going to affect something upstream. So once I got that done and I was giving more water to the tomato plants, then I didn't have enough water to feed the tomato plants at that point. So I wasn't able to drain enough water from my biofilters here to completely water all of the tomato plants. So I had to make an adjustment there. And what I did was I come in, I drilled a hole for a 3/4 inch bulkhead right in this T where I have my emergency overflow in my header system. And I added this drain right here. This is a 1 inch that necks down to 3/4, and that way I know I've got the maximum amount of flow going through this 3/4 inch line. And I just took a grinder and I ground these little slits into this pipe so that no tadpoles or minnows or anything can get sucked into the pipe. I plugged off the 90 with a standpipe here so nothing can get into there, so I'm not losing anything to getting sucked into there. And adding the extra water that I need to go ahead and fill up all the buckets for the tomatoes. So everything kind of works backwards, and everything kind of affects everything else as far as how this system works. And I just had to modify the tomatoes to get them some more water. Then I had to end up going back and modifying the biofilters to give the header more water to feed that water to the tomatoes. So I want to sit here and watch it for a little bit and make sure that we're completely at full capacity. So it looks like now that I do have water going out my emergency overflow right here just a little bit, which is telling me that I'm at capacity again. If you look in here, the water's all the way up to the top. So my 4-inch line is completely full now. So I should be keeping my 3-inch lines full, which should be feeding all of my tomatoes the extra water they need. So I think I'm good now. Just made a little adjustment here and we're back up and flowing. So some of the fishes I got. Anyway, I wanted to come back and show you guys that. Just just show you that anytime you change something downstream, you're going to affect something upstream, and you always have to be flexible and kind of plumb these things in for any type of modifications you need to make. It was real easy just to drill that hole, put it into this T, and took about 5 minutes, and I'm back up and flowing. So I appreciate you guys watching. I'll be back.